Well, welcome to Living Beyond Limits in our Sunday service. We are a part of Centers for Spiritual Living, and I'm Reverend Jennifer Spear, and I welcome all of you. And for those of you who haven't been with us in a long time, welcome. We're glad that you came to join us today. And for those of you who are new, welcome also. We're really glad that you have to have you with us today. And so let's start by reading our mission statement that's on the front of your bulletin. We are a sanctuary where people can discover and reveal the presence of God within their own being and experience their oneness with all life. Through the realization of this inner presence of love and peace, we give way to the evolutionary impulse of the divine and become a beneficial presence in the world. So that's what we're up to here at Living Beyond Limits, as we are awakening to our own divine nature, to the fact that we are, just like everything else in this universe, we are actually out-picturings of that one presence, that one power, that one life, that presence that is the very essence of love and peace and wholeness and power and good without bound and creativity. That presence that we can so clearly see expressing itself in nature also expresses itself in us and through us and as us. And what happens is when we come to recognize that presence is innate to our very beingness, then when we are out in the world and the world is not reflecting back to us love or peace or kindness or generosity or unity, whatever it is, yes, we would prefer that to be out there, but we're not reliant on it being out there in order for us to be that in the world. And so as we tap into then, say, the love and the peace within us, we can bring that into the world, and as we see, we are in a world that is hungering and thirsting for that right now. We can be the ones that bring that to the conversation, to the situation, to the circumstance, and as we do that, we act as a beneficial presence in the world. And because everything is connected to everything else, we are part of this whole, that when we come from that place, it not only affects that moment, but it actually affects the whole because everything is connected to everything else. And so I say thank you to each and every one of you for saying yes to the call of your own spirit, to be walking this path, to be bringing your light and your care into this world in a way that makes a difference. Thank you for that. And so, do you know about the Buddhists who are doing the Peace Walk? So, if you don't know, they are on a 120-day, 2,300-mile journey from Texas to Washington, D.C. It began on October 25th. Their walk is to promote peace, compassion, unity, and nonviolence. In a written statement, if I can say his name, Bhikkhu Panikkara, the spiritual leader of the Walk for Peace, said, quote, "We do not walk to protest, but to awaken the peace that already lives within each of us." One of his other members that is walking with him said, "Our walking itself cannot create peace. But when someone encounters us, whether by the roadside, online, or through a friend, when our message touches something deep within them, when it awakens the peace that has always lived quietly in their own heart, something sacred begins to unfold." This is our contribution, not to force peace upon the world, but to help nurture it, one awakened heart at a time. And so if you haven't seen them, they started out walking roads and there was maybe a couple people that would show up, and now there are hundreds of people that are showing up to greet them and support them and give them flowers and receive flowers and giving them water and all sorts of things. And I saw a video the other day that was a man with his 2 teenage daughters that were out on a road, and they said in the video, "We're cleaning up the road because the monks are going to become walking here." So nice. Well, welcome to our third Sunday where we are participating in the Season for Nonviolence. looking at ways that we can create greater peace within ourselves, greater peace within our relationships, and greater peace in the world. And I know with all the things that are happening in this country right now and in the world right now, it is really easy to feel angry and to feel fearful. It can be easy to feel hatred for some people and resentment. It is easy to separate ourselves from those people who see things differently than we see them. And then in turn to think that they are our enemies. In the dedication to Thich Nhat Hanh's book, Zen and the Art of Saving the Planet, Sister True wrote, "When Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. marched into downtown Chicago against the Vietnam War on March 25, 1967, a few months after he and Thich Nhat Hanh met, he did so under a banner in English and Vietnamese that read, 'Men are not our enemies. If we kill men, then with whom shall we live?'" Thich Nhat Hanh and Martin Luther King shared the insight that it is not other people who are our enemies. Instead, our enemies are anger, resentment, hatred, fear, and discrimination. The path of, quote, not hating the enemy is a profoundly spiritual practice. Dr. King once said that if we have enough spirituality and ethics, we will be able to replace hate with love. Love allows us to go further and to see hatred, anger, and discrimination not so much as enemies, but as energies inside all of us that can be embraced and transformed. That's what those monks are doing. They are standing against the things that are happening, but they are standing for peace and bringing peace and creating unity and love and kindness and compassion wherever they go. So anger, resentment, hatred, fear, discrimination, those are the very things that are creating the problems that we are having in this country and in this world right now. And so for us, hating another person or hating a group of people does not change what's happening. But if we can see underneath what is happening, we can gain an insight and it can shift our perspective. And because we always begin right here, we begin by looking at how anger, resentment, hatred, bitterness, discrimination, all of those things, fear, live inside of us. We have to begin here. I have a friend, Kathy. I told you this story a long time ago, but I'll tell you again. I have a friend, Kathy, who is very involved in a peace organization. And I know they had gone to Korea recently, and they've gone all over the place promoting peace on this planet. Yet she hates her husband. They live separate lives. She doesn't like him. You know what? If you can't create peace in your own household, how do you expect to create peace out there? It's like saying, I'm not willing to do the work, they have to do the work. That isn't how it works. We have to do the work in here first. You know, I know that every single one of us in this room, we want to make a positive difference in this world. We want to contribute to peace in this country. And I know that we here are dedicated to walking a spiritual path. And we are dedicated to bringing our spirituality into all of the aspects of our lives. That's what it means to walk a spiritual path. We don't pick and choose in this philosophy. It's all our spiritual path, everything that shows up. And we do that because we know that primarily we are spiritual beings. So the problem is when we get embroiled in those feelings of anger and resentment and hatred and othering, what happens then is we only contribute more of that into the world, which is the very thing we're saying we don't want to have. When we simmer in those feelings, it doesn't fix anything. It doesn't heal anything. There's something I'd like to share with you that I found this week. It says the continental divide is a natural geographical boundary that runs through North and Central America, tracing the high mountain ridges. In Colorado, all the rain and snow landing on the eastern side of the divide flows east to Boulder Creek and eventually makes its way to the Atlantic Ocean. All precipitation falling on the western side of the ridge flows down to the Colorado River, eventually emptying into the Pacific Ocean. In theory, drops that land on the eastern side of the end up in the Atlantic Ocean, while drops that land on the western side end up in the Pacific Ocean. The difference of a fraction of an inch eventually results in the difference of an entire ocean, an entire world. That's how cause and effects works. The difference in one step, one choice, one word, one little thought formed at the point of origin can make literally a world of difference as it flows and sweeps downstream, inexorably amplifying our intent. You are balanced on your own continental divide. Every moment in your life. Each moment you walk this edge that is your life, you make a choice. Whether you're aware of it or not, each moment you choose to pour the water of your thoughts down one side or the other. You either choose to sow thoughts of uncertainty, conflict, lack, fear, or you choose to sow thoughts of fulfillment, happiness, ease, peace, and love, visions of intentional positive creation. We are our own continental divide. You know what? Feeling anger is good. Because when we feel anger, it tells us that something isn't okay. It tells us that there is a boundary that has been crossed and that we have a boundary there. But living in that energy of anger is not good. Living in that anger all the time just festers and keeps us in the poison of our own thinking and eventually disempowers us. And it disempowers us because sitting in those feelings of anger and hatred and resentment and all that stuff, we marinate in that, and what we're doing is we're holding on to victimhood. We're saying, I am a victim and I have no power here and I can't do anything to create change here. That's disempowering. Last week, Colleen and I went to a candlelight vigil on Ocean Boulevard across the street from the beach. That was a candlelight vigil in honor of the people that had been shot by ICE agents. Colleen had seen on Facebook, and I didn't know this, that there was a nationwide candlelight vigil the weekend before, but we didn't know about it until afterwards. So some of the people that live on Ocean have decided they're doing this candlelight vigil every night. And I didn't know that. I thought, we showed up and I thought there were going to be 50 or 100 people. We got there and there were 6 people. These people were so loving and so kind and saying they just want to be able to do something, standing in unity. And by the time we left, there were 14 of us. It was so lovely to be able to do that, to be able to stand with people basically hand in hand for what we want in this world. I think the first thing, or one of the things that is required if we're going to stand for peace, for creating this peace, for creating peace in the world, if we're going to stand for goodwill and the care of humanity, rather than standing in anger and fear, I think what we have to do to begin with is to recognize our eternal wholeness. That we are absolutely whole all of the time, and that is the capital T truth. We are whole. You are whole all of the time. Joel Goldsmith said, I am infinite. I am eternal. I am immortal. Not in and of myself, separate and apart from God, but because God is the life and the substance of my being. We are each eternal beings because we are out picturings of that one life, that one presence, that one beingness. And when you're anchored in knowing that you are an eternal being and knowing that you are whole, then what happens is that you know that there's nothing that can harm you. There's nothing that can damage you or destroy you. It can't destroy who you are as an emanation of that which is infinite and that which is the very essence of wholeness. Nothing can touch that. That's what you came in with, your spirit. That's what you leave with. You are whole, who you are all of the time. Knowing that lets us know that we are safe. Knowing that lets us know that we are safe so that in turn we can act from our heart and act from our spirit and move out into the world by those things that call our heart and our spirit. Knowing that we are eternal and whole gives us the confidence to take a stand. It gives us the confidence to know what is right, to stand for what is right. It gives us the courage to speak it and to be it. And so the title of this message today is The Real Enemy. And what I'm talking about is when we are anchored in our unwavering wholeness, and when we recognize that it is not another person who is the enemy, but instead it is a false idea that is the enemy, a false idea like there isn't enough, or like you might take what is mine, a false idea like having power over another person makes you powerful, or makes you whole, or makes you enough, or fills in whatever hole is inside of that person. When we are anchored in our wholeness and recognize that it's a belief that is the enemy, then we can stand what we are for rather than what we are against. You can walk like those monks, standing for what you're standing for and being that voice and that action in the world. And then you are a place for positive change to occur. I'd like to share a story with you. A rabbi once asked his students, how do we know when the night has ended and the day has begun? The students thought they grasped the importance of the question. There are, after all, prayers and rites and rituals that can only be done at nighttime, and there are prayers and rites and rituals that can only be done during the day. So it is important to know when you can tell when the night has ended and the day has begun. So the first and brightest of the students offered his answer. Rabbi, When I look at the fields and I can distinguish between my field and the field of my neighbor, that's when the night has ended and the day has begun. A second student offered his answer. Rabbi, when I look from the fields and I see a house, and I can tell that it's my house, not the house of my neighbor, then that's when the night has ended and the day has begun. A third student offered another answer. Rabbi, when I see an animal in the distance, and I can tell what kind of animal it is, whether a cow or a horse or a sheep, that's when the night has ended and the day has begun. Then a fourth student offered yet another. Rabbi, when I see a flower and I can make out the colors of the flower, whether they are red, yellow, or purple, that's when the night has ended and the day has begun. Each answer brought a sadder and more severe frown upon the rabbi's face, until he finally shouted, "No, none of you understand. You only divide. You divide your house from the house of your neighbor, your field from your neighbor's field. You distinguish one kind of an animal from another. You separate one color from all the others. Is that all we do? Dividing, separating, splitting the world into pieces? Isn't the world broken enough? Isn't the world split into enough fragments? Is that what the Torah is for? No, my dear students, it's not that way at all. The shocked students looked into the sad face of the rabbi. Then, Rabbi, tell us, how do we know when the night has ended and the day has begun? The rabbi stared back into the faces of his students with a voice suddenly gentle and imploring, and he responded, when you look into the face of another person beside you, and you can see that that person is your brother or your sister, that is when night has ended and day has begun. When you can see that that person is your brother or your sister. Stephen Charleston, who is an Episcopal bishop, said, "The tipping point of faith is the threshold of spiritual energy where what we believe becomes what we do." When what we believe becomes what we do, that's the tipping point of spirituality. We are being asked to stand in and to stand for what we believe, and then to bring that into the world. We believe that we are all part of this one human family, and that every single one of us is valuable and important and worthy. We believe that we are here by divine purpose, to love, to grow, to be a beneficial presence in this world, to discover our own greater yet to be, and then to bring that forward. We believe that there is a power in prayer, that there is a power in our intentions and in our consciousness, in all consciousness. And we seek to remember that good, capital G, good, which is another name for God, that good is always present. You might not see it right there, but good is always present. Our job is to know that and to see that so that we can call it forward. And we believe that love can never lead us astray. Billy Mills, who was a Lakota Indian and an Olympian, said, "You have to look deeper way below the anger, the hurt, the hate, the jealousy, the self-pity, way down deeper where the dreams lie. Find your dream. It's the pursuit of that dream that heals you. It is the pursuit of that dream for peace that heals you. It heals you of your separation. It heals you of your anger. It heals you of othering people. It heals you of smallness. Your dream is the thing that heals you. It's the thing that grows you. It's the thing that deepens you and expands you. So my invitation to you this week is to know that you are whole always. Will you say that? I am whole always. I am whole always. To know that nothing can damage you or destroy you or harm who you are as a spiritual being. To know that you are safe. Will you say that? I am safe. I am safe. The I in here is safe. And to let that be the anchor when things are stormy in the world. Let that be your anchor. To know also, the second invitation is to know that fear and anger and hatred and resentment and othering are the enemy, not other people. And we all have that within ourselves. It's within us and it's within other people. So will you say this? I know that fear and anger, hatred and resentment, and othering are the enemy. We can transform our hatred by looking at what is beneath the behavior. What is the belief? What is the belief? What is the attitude? And then find, when you discover what that belief is that's underneath that, then you can pray about that. That's the thing that needs to be healed. You can pray about that and transform that inside of yourself and pray about it being transformed in the world in general. And replace your resentment of what's going on with action. Do something. Do one thing. Do something that moves you in the direction that you want to go. That's where your growth is. And when you find yourself othering, because, we have egos. When you find yourself othering, look for your common humanity. Separate the being from the behavior and be the change you wish to see in the world. And I'm going to close with a quote from Richard Wagamies, who is of the Ojibwe First Nations tribe. He said, "All that we are is a story. From the moment we are born to the time we continue on this spirit journey, we are involved in the creation of the story of our time here. It is what we arrive with. It is all we leave behind. We are not the things we accumulate. We are not the things we deem important. We are story. All of us. What comes to matter then is the creation of the best possible story we can write while we're here. You, me, us together. When we do that, we change the world one story at a time." So write your story, the story that you want it to be. And know that you make an impact on this planet through your prayers, through your words, through your acts, and through your consciousness. And so blessings to each one of you as you walk this path of your own spirit, walking the path of spirit. Blessings to you. And so I invite you to join me in an affirmative prayer as we turn our attention to the capital T truth, that there is an omnipresence that is right here where we are. And it is a presence that is the very energy of intelligence and love and creativity and boundless potential, good without bound. That it is its very essence is balance and harmony and order and peace. And so we recognize that this presence that is so much more than we could ever name, than we could ever describe, is the one in whom we live and move and have our beingness within. It is the one in which everything exists. And it is the one that is unfolding itself and pouring itself out into this universe in and through each and every single one of us. And because I know that in this presence there is no hindrance, there are no obstructions, there are no delays, what I recognize and know then that presence in its fullness, in its allness, is unfolding itself right here, right now. That we lean in and open up to that one that is outside of us and that one that is inside of us. For that God outside and the God within us are one and the same. The infinite spirit, the one. And so today we open ourselves to that flow of love and peace, recognizing that anything and everything that has been living in our minds that is unlike peace is being healed right now. That the light of truth, the light of love is transforming resentment and hatred within us. And the light of love, the light of oneness, the light of good is unfolding itself in and through all of humanity right now. Through our leaders, through our politicians, through the decision makers. The wisdom of the divine is leading, guiding, speaking in their ear, speaking in their heart of truth, capital T truth, of oneness. And so we just lean into this truth and create space for this to unfold itself in this world. I know that presence is in every heart, in every home, in every place of business, in every encounter, in every relationship. Love, peace, goodness. And so we just hold that. And so I release this prayer into that infinite law of the universe, knowing that it is unfolding itself all around us right now because it is the truth. And so I invite you to join me in saying, and so it is. And so I do have a couple of invitations for you as a way to participate in this family. One is next week we are having our annual business meeting, talking about what we did this year. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's the 22nd. It's not next week at all. Thank you, Rebecca. The 22nd, it's the last Sunday of the month. We're having our annual meeting. We are going to be making plans for next year, so we'd like you to be here so we can talk about what it is that we want to do for outreach, things we do in the community, what we do for inreach, the parties and fun and play and stuff that we do together, and passing a budget for next year and to talk about classes you want to take and what you want next year to look like. So we invite you to come and be here. There is a sign-up sheet in the back. We are having a soup, salad, and bread potluck. If you'd like to sign up to bring one of those things, we usually have 4 people, I think. 3 people? 3 people bring each of those items. So we have 3 soups, 3 salads, 3 breads kind of thing. Also, I'm wondering, is this starting to feel like a place that you'd like to call home? Is this a place that feels to you like the place where you are happy to be having your soul fed and nurtured? And if so, we are going to be having a new member ceremony. But first, we'll have a little new members orientation and talk about what membership looks like and what it means. I have some sheets on the back table that say what it means to be a member. I have some membership forms to fill out, and then you can give one to me. And if you're interested, come talk to me, because we'd like to have our new member ceremony the day of the annual meeting, if we can make it happen that soon. And so we need to set a date that works for everybody to have the little workshop. So come talk to me. Just to let you know, always our Sunday talks are available on our YouTube channel and on our website. We invite you to check in on Meetup and say that you're coming. Mike and I are here today, I think. We'd like you to check in and say, I'm coming. So it looks like there's more people in the room. People sometimes don't want to come when they only think 5 people are going to be there. Like us on Facebook and share the posts, especially when the talk comes out. All you have to do is hit the share button and it goes out to your friends. Help us build our audience, and that invites people here. Yeah, if you know of anybody who might benefit from this message today, when the talk comes out, it lands in your email box too. Share it with them. I think it's important. I personally think it's really important what we are doing here right now, being that the world is as crazy as it is and our country is as crazy as it is. So share those talks with people who you think might benefit from them. And we have prayer support after service. If you would like prayer, the practitioners, will you raise your hand if you're a practitioner, are happy to sit and pray with you for any desired outcome that you'd like. And so I invite you to repeat after me, good fills my life now. Good fills my life now. I recognize it. I savor it. I love it. And I live it. And so it is.